Yo, what's good, basketball heads? It's your boy Crush. So here go JJ Redick again, trying to downplay Michael Jordan, the 80s, the 90s. You know, he's always trying to downplay Jordan's era. Like, this era is way better. He have to say that, basically, because, you know, JJ is from this era. He's a LeBron advocate. So, of course, he's going to always try to downplay the era Jordan played in because he knows that's going to help LeBron's case. So he's always trying to shit on the 80s, the 90s, players from the past and make it sound like these dudes were bums and they didn't play against any competition. And LeBron just played against all-world juggernauts. And we all know once LeBron went to Miami and joined up with Wade and Bosh, and eventually Ray Allen joined that team, they had nobody in the East to stop him. So the man made it to the finals 10 times, I think, because he had no competition. But he's going to sit here and try to downplay Jordan, downplay the 90s, the 80s, all his accomplishments, and trying to say the man didn't play any competition. This is JJ Redick always trying to, prop up LeBron James, always trying to prop up this era of basketball. And it's sad, man. This man is always trying to shit on the 80s and 90s because all these great players, Jordan, Hakeem, Dr. J, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Larry Bird, Magic, Kareem. We could go on and on. There are so many great players that came from the 80s and 90s. But according to JJ Redick, they weren't so good. A lot of them, they're plumbers, they can't play in today's game. They're bums. This era is just so much superior. And he's always talking nonsense. Most of his talking points is to benefit LeBron because if he downplayed the earlier eras, then this is going to benefit LeBron in the whole GOAT debate. And saying, he played more competition than Jordan, he had to face harder competition, all this nonsense. Meanwhile, the man had a super team in the East twice. His second stint in Cleveland, the first time around in Miami, he had a super team. No one could stop him from getting to the finals because he's already a great player, and he has super teams. In a weak East, of course he's going to make it to the finals every single season. That's a given. So this is what JJ Redick had to say. A lot of times, we're comparing eras. I'll say this with Michael Jordan, and I don't mean to be controversial. During his heyday, 6 teams were added to the NBA. There were 90 players added to the NBA. Does that not water it down? I'm not talking about playoff, by the way. No chance. But you're not telling me that the league for a little bit is going to be watered down. So the man is saying because they added expansion teams, the league became watered down. So Jordan, his competition was less, far inferior compared to LeBron's. This is another way of him trying to discredit Jordan. The man find every single possible way to try to discredit MJ so he could say LeBron is better. Even though we have the metrics, we have all the stats, we have the winning, the championships, the MVPs and all that, JJ Redick continues to find ways to disrespect MJ and all the earlier great players like Magic, Bird, Kareem, so on and so on. He's always trying to discredit them. This era is so much better. I don't buy it. I do not buy it. He's going to tell you that these players now, they're so much better, they're superior, but everybody got to create super teams. Nobody could get it out of the mud beyond Giannis. Everybody else got to create super teams. Giannis and Kawhi are the only 2 players that won championships without stacking the deck. Think about that. Giannis and Kawhi are the only 2 players that won championships, and also Dirk Nowitzki. Those are the only 3 players that won chips without stacking the deck. Everybody else stacked the deck. They had more than 1 stars. They had, really strong roster. Every single chip LeBron has won came from stacking the deck. And no one could argue this. You could try to argue it, but it's a fact. Show me one time LeBron won a chip without another Hall of Famer or a top 75. You can't. Every chip that LeBron has ever won came alongside multiple Hall of Famers and top 75s. But this man will try to shit on Jordan, Magic, and all the earlier players and try to say they didn't face great competition. That era wasn't so good. And we're in an era now where they play no defense, there's no hand checking, and everything is in the player's favor. If you watch most of these games, players are now walking. They could travel in the game, no whistle. Traveling is now a part of basketball. You won't hear any whistle when players travel, but this man is going to tell you this era is just greater. I'm not saying this era, they don't have new skill sets and new moves. And of course, it's a game, it evolves. So yes, players have more in their bags. I won't argue that. Players today, they have a little more in their bag as far as new moves that came into the NBA. A lot of American players, they adapted a lot of moves from the European players, like the Euro step and other moves that got implemented. Few moves from the European players like Ginobili and others. They have adapted a lot of those moves like the side step and all that. Players today have a little more in their bag on average. I won't argue that. But would I say they're better? No, I'm not going to say they're better because they're not. They might have a few more moves, but we are in a three-point league. The fundamentals of the game is lost. Hence why you always hear Charles Barkley saying these dudes are dummies. They don't know how to play basketball because everybody just want to shoot threes. That's it. All they want to do is shoot threes. Nobody get on the block no more, on the post. Nobody playing inside. Majority don't even play inside. Even big men, they stay on the perimeter. So it's a totally different game. But this is JJ Redick, man. Once again, the nonstop attack on Jordan and the 80s and the 90s. Always trying to downplay the earlier eras, and because this is his way of trying to elevate LeBron. Let me downplay the earlier eras so I could elevate LeBron. LeBron will never surpass Jordan from stats and accolades, so my way of assisting LeBron in his quest to be GOAT, I'm going to downplay the earlier eras and say most of the players were plumbers, bums, and MJ played in a watered-down league, and shit is just ridiculous. And of course, yes, the NBA expanded, they added more teams. When Michael Jordan entered the league, they only had 23 teams, and eventually they added Dallas in 1980, and from 1988 to 1995, they added 6 more teams, the Hornets, Pelicans, Heat, Timberwolves, Raptors, Grizzlies, and Magic. So we know the NBA added a few teams, they expanded. But if you're going to use this to say Jordan played in a watered-down league, if that's the case, why didn't Hakeem and other great teams and great players win more chips than Jordan? If he played in a watered-down league, why didn't other players win? This man is always trying his best. I'm telling you, it's sad. And of course, he's in LeBron's pocket. Let's be honest, they're from the same era. He's a big LeBron fan, a big advocate. So he's going to always champion LeBron and try to shit on MJ or anyone from the early eras. That's just normal. But, man, you can't take this dude serious, man. Trying to downplay the man's greatness to elevate LeBron because LeBron can't do it on his own. He needs everybody to assist him. And he will never be the GOAT. Not if you really know the game. But this is JJ Redick doing his normal nonsense, man. Always disrespecting the game. Always disrespecting older players, all the predecessors, always disrespecting them just so he could elevate LeBron. Because LeBron is not great enough to do it on his own. He needs all the assistance, all the alley hoops. It's just crazy. But if you know, you know, man. But as always, I'll holla. As always, we just talking basketball. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share. Holla at your boy.
It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about the game. I'ma say it. It's all about the game.